Hello and welcome back to Sensibly Frugal Living. As promised, I'm going to do a video on what I do with leftover bread or bread that I've got reduced. So this is what I've got: 2 packets of 6 sliced white loaves. I paid 41 pence each for a pack of 6, and this is the last of the bread. It's about to go out of date, and I've got more coming on the shop, so I'll show you what I do with that too. Freeze it. So one of these is going straight in the freezer, and then if I'm ever out of bread or need something for lunch boxes, I can defrost some bread rolls. So these ones are going straight in the freezer, and you can do that with any bread. Just make sure it's packaged well. This will be fine like that. So as you see, I don't actually have much of the sliced loaf left, but we don't want to waste anything. The crusts are going in the freezer. I do like a French toast, a bit like a cinnamon version. I will put the link in the description because I've done a whole video on that. These two are going to go straight in the freezer. So I am left with 6 sliced white rolls and 2 slices of bread. I'm going to be making some pizza baps. I've got a little bit of cheese, so we're not going to be making many of them until my big shop comes, but what we're going to do is make as many as we can. I'm just going to use puree, cheese, and maybe a bit of ham, and I'm going to show you that you can actually do that with bread as well, so you can make like a pizza bread, I suppose. If you've been around here for a while, you'll know that I've got crumpets in my freezer, English muffins, loaf of bread. I pop anything in there. Naan breads are great, like flatbreads and naan breads. If you can get them reduced, pop them in your freezer, use them as a pizza base. You can even make up the pizza, like I'm going to be making up the pizza baps. Get it in the up in the freezer, sorry, and then you can pull it out and cook it from frozen. You can also make breadcrumbs out of stale bread if you've got any left over. I don't need to make breadcrumbs on this day, so I'm not making any, but it's a great way to use up old, slightly stale bread. Or you can even make a bread and butter pudding. I don't like bread and butter pudding. I don't like dried fruit, so I'm not going to make one of them either. But again, it's another option for using up your leftover or stale bread. Because I'm using puree as my tomato sort of base sauce for my pizza baps, I need to mix a little bit of water in to get it to the right consistency. You can also use passata if you have that to hand. So you just do your puree as so, and you can do it on bread as well. So you can make up sort of like a pizza toast almost. So you want to just sprinkle your cheese on. Like I said, I don't actually have a great deal of cheese at the moment till my big shop comes, so this is a great sort of like using up leftovers type of meal. If you've got a bit of onion, stick that on there. If you've got any pepperoni, stick that on there. I don't have those sort of things at the moment, but what I do have is some ham, so we're going to get some ham on there. You could even do a bit of tuna, sweet corn, anything you like to make your little pizza. And obviously you just do the same with the bread rolls. Here we are, there's the pizza bread and the little pizza baps, and I'm going to get these stored away and popped in the freezer. Make sure you keep these flat unless you flash freeze them while they're freezing, otherwise all your topping's going to fall off. So I've got this in an old takeaway container and a little Tupperware. These can go straight in the freezer, and I'd say to eat them within like 2 months. The next thing we're going to make with the leftover bread or the reduced bread is some garlic bread. So I'm going to use up this bit of salted butter and the last little bit of my garlic puree. Get these in the freezer. When you see bread reduced, this is the perfect opportunity to get some in your freezer or to make things like this using it, and then you've got yourself a cheap little meal. So always check the reductions in the supermarket to see if you can get any bread rolls, naan breads, like I said, for pizza bases, anything like that. I always have a little look because it's worthwhile just popping them in your freezer, even if you don't have time to do anything with them right away. So that's my butter, mixed herbs and garlic mixture, and we are going to spread that on the bread rolls. And you can also make garlic bread out of a simple sliced loaf if you've got that left over. If you want to make it into more of a kind of like lunchtime meal or a snack, why not add a bit of cheese in, and then you've got yourself a cheesy garlic bread toasty. You can pop it in the air fryer once it's defrosted or from frozen, and you could pop it in a sandwich press if you have one to hand. If you like to do a pizza night, make a pizza using leftover bread, garlic bread using leftover bread, and you've saved yourself a bit of money there. I've managed to use up the last little bit of that butter, the last of the garlic puree, and I got 3 bread rolls and a slice of light bread done as garlic bread. So I'm going to get this packaged up and popped in the freezer too. I've popped a layer of baking paper between the 2 layers so they don't get stuck together, so you can pop them out one at a time if you need to use them one at a time. Get these in the freezer. I'm running out of tubs to use in the freezer, so I've just popped this in a Ziploc bag. It'll be fine as long as I keep it flat until it's frozen, and job's a good one. Now the last few bread rolls are just going to be what I call freezer sandwiches. I'm not going to put any butter or anything in them, but I am going to put the ham in them and just freeze them as they are. When I need them, I will take them out, defrost them, probably put a bit of cheese in them and put them in the sandwich press, because that's how we like to eat them. But as I don't have the cheese, I would have put the cheese in now if I had cheese, but I don't, so we're going to do it this way for now. I usually always film my freezer sandwiches post in the summer because we use them when we go on days out for picnics and things. You can just defrost them, they don't take very long, and yeah, just whip them out the morning of and you've got sandwiches ready to go. But like I said, sometimes my kids don't like the bread that's been frozen unless it's been toasted, so we do have a sandwich press or a panini press that I pop the bread or the bread rolls in, and they're quite happy with gooey cheese, ham and leftover bread rolls. And I always try and use my bread bags as freezer bags, as this gives an extra layer of protection against freezer burn and it stores everything nicely together in the freezer. So that's 3 bread rolls in the freezer. Like I said, I'll defrost them and put some cheese in them and pop them in the sandwich press, as I tend to eat them like that as a breakfast sandwich. And that's the bread rolls saved in the freezer, and we used up the ham that needed using up. There's just one little piece left now. So I hope this video has been useful. If you like the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and I'll catch you on the next one.